I'm Julie. I work here at Milestone Running, and I'm just here to give you guys a little background on myself, how I got here, how I met the guys. Well, I started running when I was 26, so pretty opposite of Greg and Chad. I started running much later. I was a gym rat and a cigarette smoker.
Show us your traps.
So there were these guys at the gym that were training for a half marathon, and after much convincing, I was like, guys, I can't run. I think a mile is far. Like, a mile was a huge accomplishment. But they finally convinced me to do it. They were just going to run a mile, walk a minute, run a mile, walk a minute. So I did that. I decided I should probably not smoke for a couple of days before this, clear out the lungs. And so I did that, and I was prepared. I had done my training. I had done 2 5-mile runs with these guys. And when I got to the gym in the morning, I would run 4 laps around the parking garage, which was possibly a mile. And I was so accomplished at that point. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can run this half marathon. And so I ran with them. I was running a mile, walking a minute, and I was on my little tippy toes, even when they were walking. And I don't know, something happened. By like mile 9, my calves started cramping up, and I didn't know anything about running. I just knew I had to either run faster or completely stop running. So I told the guys that I was running with that I was like, hey, I either have to stop or leave you. And they said, okay, leave me. And then everything, once I picked up speed, everything in my body started working better, and it was euphoria, and like I had a trail of fire blazing behind me, and I don't know, I fell in love with running. Never smoked a day after that, so running ruined my smoking, is what I tell everybody. So fast forward with my passion for running, I started working in run specialty for a local running shop in Dallas called Luke's Locker. And I worked there. I loved it. I loved the industry. I ended up moving down to Austin to help them open up a store there, all the while running. I got competitive immediately. Like, I just started running that half marathon, and after that it was like 5K, running races, get a coach, train, try to get faster. And so I moved down to Austin. Fast forward a couple of years at that store there. An opportunity came up to train with a lady named Bev Kearney, one of the most amazing running coaches, albeit short distance, which was not my deal. But she was UT's track and field coach for a long time. And she agreed to train me, and it was like this amazing dream of this coach that was, training people at a level that was so unattainable to me, offered to coach me. And so about 6 months into that, she said, hey, I'm moving. I'll help you find another coach. I can hook you up with someone around here. And I don't know what it was, but something in me just asked her, what if I moved? And she said, well, I'll continue to coach you. You can train with the team out here. So I did. I gave Luke's about 3 months advance notice, and
When was this?
When
was this?
2014, rolling into 15. So Christmas Eve of 2014, I left Luke's Locker and left Austin and took about a week or so to drive out to San Diego. I got here New Year's Eve, 2014, so I could wake up the next day in San Diego in a new place. So I was out here training with Bev, training with a team, got a part-time job at a place that I did not enjoy, and so I left. I have not learned a ton in my life, but I've learned enough to know I will not work for people that I don't like, and where places I don't feel comfortable, because that's a large majority of your day. So I started scouting around for other places to work, and I came to Milestone. I'd been looking for this place and looking for it, and their signs were so shitty, I could not find it anywhere. I passed by it like 3 or 4 times. I didn't know how anybody could find this spot. I was like, is it even open? I know it says it here on the interwebs, but I am not finding it. So finally one day I was like, oh, okay, here it is. And I walk in, and it's, surprisingly enough, here's the Brooks rep, who I was working at a different running shop. So I was like, shh, don't tell them. Don't tell my job I'm here. I'm looking for another job. So she was cool. She introduced me to Chad. And they weren't really looking to hire anybody. But I definitely knew when I walked in here, I was like, this is what Run Specialty is supposed to be. This is a comfortable spot. And it was the only place that my cell phone actually had service, so I knew I was supposed to be here. It was the only place my phone worked. I could not talk to anybody I knew. I could not talk to my family. I could not talk to any of my friends, only at Milestone Running. So I was like, okay, it's meant to be. But they didn't see it that way, because they're like, oh, we don't want to hire anybody. So I kept just showing up because it was more comfortable. I was like, oh, well, they might need somebody soon, so I just want to keep myself in the area so they know I'm serious. And I would walk in, and most of the time it was Chad, but he would have like 3 or 4 customers and shoes strewn all over the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, you need some help. He's like, oh, no, I got it. I'm like, no, you need some help. And so I would pick up shoes, and I would start cleaning up. And I could just see it. Like, luckily, Greg and Chad are so cool that all of the customers that come in were just very patient. And that's due to who they are as people. Like, they just keep a sense of calm. And so everybody that comes in is the same way. But, I mean, knowing retail, it's like you come in 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, somebody might not come back a 4th time if they have to wait. So I just kept kind of hounding the guys, and I think it was eventually when Chad wanted to go on vacation for his birthday, he's like, okay, fine, we're gonna hire you. But in that space of time, another running shop was interviewing me, and I was like, guys, I need a job, and they're interviewing me, and I want to work here, so you got to get something going. Anyway, so yes, finally it comes around to almost July, because that's Chad's birthday, and he wanted to go on vacation and go back home. And so that's when they hired me. I was like, thank you. And I've been here ever since. I love it. I think when I was first courting them, or wishing they were courting me as an employee, I would actually show up to the run clubs, just again to put myself in the talks and in the scenario. And I'm very antisocial when I run. I do not run with people. Even when I run at Run Club now, or BC, I start out with Run Club and I run for a block, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go a different way. And I run off in a different direction. But I would show up at Run Club, and I would stand in the back, and it amazed me. It was just such a cool thing to see what Greg and Chad had built here. Mostly Greg. I don't think they knew it at the time. I still don't think they know it. But seeing a run club, me having been in the running industry for a while, seeing a run club for guys that had been around for just barely 2 years, and their run club at that time, which would be small by standards for us now, the run club was like 40 or 50 people. And it blew my mind because there's some running stores that can be around for 10 years and just get to that, or not even get to that. Like a 20-person run club might be a good run club. So I knew like it was their personalities and being in a really cool area. It just attracted a lot of really great people. And them having such a big run club, which is now, again, 100 to 150 people when we can run together. Just such a cool community. And it just really spoke to me about who they were as people because it was so relaxed. Also another big perk that I could come to work and watch sports all day, and that they agreed with my, they shared the Super Bowl sacred day.
Tell us when you became a Cowboys fan.
That was never. So I was born an Eagles fan and will die an Eagles fan, and also love Andy Reid because he was once mine and I always love to watch him do well. Nunca will I be a Cowgirls fan. Marriage proposal. I guess we could talk about the marriage proposal. So after I had been here, I don't know, 2.5 years, we had talked about another location, and the talks about that were getting a bit more serious. And I guess the guys, this is how I see it. Through the eyes of Julie, the guys know that, like, I came out here following my heart. I'm very logical in most aspects, but I came out here following my heart, and I will always do that. And I think the guys wanted to make sure if they were opening another store that I would not leave them, so they proposed marriage. They got down on a knee and said, "Before we open this store, will you marry us with some of the business?" I said, "With this part of the business, I thee wed." Well, we were all sitting at Fig Tree, eating breakfast, shoveling bacon in our face. Or we could have the bended knee story. That's more interesting to me, but whatever you like. Oh, geez. Favorite part of living in San Diego? It probably has to be the sports bra in January running. Sometimes I think I miss seasons, and I do, and I love seasons. And sometimes I want more trees, and so I want to be in a place with more trees. And then it's January, and I'm running in a sports bra and booty shorts. And I'm like, San Diego's not so bad. I think I'll stay.
How do you think you helped us the most when you first started working?
Oh, putting shoes in size order, hands down. Hands down. Okay, guys, I come from a visual merchandising background. I tend to be very organized. Most running stores are a merchandising mess in my eyeballs. But I go in the back room, and it's two dudes here, so...
Excuse me?
It's two dudes. Two dudes working in a running shop. But I walk in the back room to put shoes away, and none of the shoes in any particular style are in size order. And I was just flabbergasted. I was like, you guys know you're missing sales, right? Because you don't know what you have back here. So if there's anybody that walked in the first 2 years, and these guys said they didn't have your shoe, and then they called you maybe an hour later and said they did, or maybe 2 days later and said they did, it's because they didn't put the shoes in size order. Sorry about that.